Hello everyone, my name is Lily and I'm the creative director here at Bubblegum Cartoons, and welcome to Saturday Morning Cartoons, where I make my own TV show on YouTube. You guys have been really curious lately about how I do the backgrounds for my show, and I thought I would do a quick little dive into doing a new background today. We have the final trailer coming up. I just woke up one morning with a script in mind. I have a friend named Sasha who's going to help me out. It's going to be from the perspective of the newscasters in Demonic Crepes. So it'll be really interesting and a new perspective. You guys know I love doing weird outside the box perspectives for my trailers, just to shake things up a bit. So this will be the final trailer before the pilot. The pilot does not have a release date yet. We are still waiting on the theme song. So let's dive right into Procreate. This is on the iPad. So here I'm doing a 1920 by 1080. That is the typical aspect ratio for modern television as of 2020. And you can see off to the side, I actually did add a little bit of space. And you can see I even marked where the 1920 by 1080 is. That's because I had to consider the staging since this is a newscast. You can kind of see where I sketched in the news reporter and where she's going to be and where the guy is going to be. I wanted it to kind of like pan over like in a real newscast where like you can kind of have like her face on the side, so we'll pan over and then there'll be a screen with live footage. So I kind of planned that out so there would be a little more room, more than just 1920 by 1080. That way the background could move and shift with the characters depending on the needs of the scene. So when you're creating backgrounds for your animation, you're gonna want to do research of real life. So I studied in Japan for just a hot minute back in 2015, and the news in Japan is quite different from America in the way that it's like really exciting and goofy for some of the channels I saw. Other ones were much more serious and down to earth. It was very busy, I would see. It would have like a lot of like pop-up graphics and other like things going down the bottom of the screen and little screens to the side, like catching you up on what the heck a raccoon is doing in an alleyway somewhere. It was fascinating, and even when you cut over to like the main story, they will still have the picture of like, or the live footage of the news reporter like reacting to it. It was so funny. So it was really wild and really fun. So I wanted to really like inject that into this background. I also noticed that there's always a lot of like waviness and shapes to the backgrounds of these Japanese newscast rooms, and I gave them a little like glass tabletop for them, and it was kind of interesting because I didn't want to go overboard and have it be distracting from the characters, so I just kind of designed something that was kind of fun and kind of wavy behind them. So number 2 is consider your staging. So you guys probably saw I sketched in that little like seashell type thing, the kind of thing that shows like the flow of the eye, and so I wanted the flow in the middle to kind of like separate them, but also kind of keep the eye moving between them because it's kind of her eyesight to like over his head, and so it kind of flows around, and then we're gonna pan over, and so that little wave in the middle will help. You guys can see I'm using the transform tools. I really loved messing around with these. I don't typically do it. I usually just draw a scribble and I'm like fine enough with it, but I really wanted this like weird like 60s 70s swirl for some reason. I wanted it in 3 colors and I wanted it to be pink. You guys might know this, but I actually do not like doing backgrounds. It's one of my least favorite parts, other than like lip syncing. It's one of my least favorite parts of animation. It's not that I like really despise drawing them, it's just it's not as fun as drawing characters in action and animating and all that fun stuff. So it's not my favorite thing. So what I do is I make them like super duper me. Like I don't really care if a super duper pink sparkly newscasting room would be real, because this is the Demonic Crepes universe, and if I'm going to be spending hours on it, I want it to look as cute as possible. I got some like totally Spies vibes. I got some totally like Powerpuff Girl vibes from this newscast room. Like if I had a newscast room, I'd want it to look like this. So here we go in with the little glass counter here. I played around with a lot of textures. I'm trying to add more textures to my my backgrounds and my art in general. You guys might not know this, but almost everything on the pilot and the short Sophie's Picnic Panic were all made in Photoshop, and that was before I really dove like deep into Procreate. Procreate is a lot easier to use, a lot more user friendly. The brushes are so much better. It's handheld, so you can I just did this like on the couch. So definitely be in mind of color. So something about the newscasters is I was planning on having them, you know, have like dark hair, dark clothes, so they would be kind of more like cool toned, because like especially in Sophie's Picnic Panic, that is a mouthful. They have like navy suits or like purpley blue suits, so I wanted to keep that in mind, that they're going to be kind of wearing more boring and adult colors, and I wanted the background to be super cute and super fun. So I'm adding these diamond patterns because I wanted more of those shapes like I saw in the newscast room. And so I played around a lot with these, with like the opacity and the shape of the diamonds and how many there were. And originally I just put them around the sketches of the news reporters, and then I was like, you know what, like what if they don't end up being there? So I put them, even if my character I knew was going to be in front of it, I still added it anyway just for integrity purposes. So yeah, you can see we have a lady newscaster who will be played by my friend Sasha. This will all be in Japanese, so yeah, she's actually fluent. I am not. I know a couple words. I studied abroad years ago, so she will be playing the lady newscaster. Maybe we'll give her name. Maybe her name will be Sasha. And I'm gonna be playing the dude, and he's like gonna be like a one-word wonder, like he's just gonna go like yeah or something like that. So I'm gonna be playing the dude. I have the script all written up for the final trailer. I'm really excited to share it with you guys. It's going to be super duper fun. We're going to see more clips from the show, more clips from Sophie's Picnic Panic. And over here I'm drawing the little banner. It says Channel 8 on it. I just 8's my favorite number. I had to pick a channel, so I liked number 8. I put little hearts in the 8 because I wanted to, and this is my world. My world is pink and has sparkly diamond glass counters for the news reporters. So you guys can see I like way lower the opacity on the newscasters in my original sketch, my original grid. Those of course will not be in the final rendition here. And also again, playing around with all these tools. I had a lot of fun messing around because usually I just do everything by hand and I don't use any who's-its and gadgets and stuff, so I've been looking more into that. So this has been super duper fun to do. It looks kind of 70s, looks kind of 60s. I have no idea. So make sure, you know, and give myself enough room on the other end to have the, you know, pan over and the lady can kind of point us to the little screen full of animation. I kind of designed this to be as little animation as possible. So I would be pulling up clips and stuff like that. Just gonna be talking about like monsters invading Tokyo and stuff like that. So I'm gonna keep these as separate layers because these chairs, which I'm designing right now, which look kind of like, I designed them to look like diner seats, they will be behind the character, so make sure you do not flatten this down onto your final layer. Please keep in mind, you know, the function of animation. I flattened everything else, you know, channel 8 to the pink background, to the stripe, and so that is all one layer, but the counter and the chairs must be separate layers that we can like, I guess you could, it's just gonna be a little harder on you, to, you know, keep it separate. That way you can layer your characters in between and then you can have those as separate files, separate layers in Toon Boom. I animate this in Toon Boom. So there we go. I made the seats a little peachier, and here I'm gonna do some highlights. This is something I learned in college. I like it a lot, so I did some yellow highlights over there and some purple highlights over there. And so I'm gonna kind of like play around with the opacity or the layers or whatever. Definitely play around, see what you like. This is your background. You're gonna have to live with it. So please have fun with it. I hope this helped at all. So to go over it one more time, definitely keep in mind research the real life background or inspirations behind it. Consider your staging, consider your characters and what they're going to be doing, where they're going to be pointing, what they're wearing. Keep in mind the flow of the scene, the overall mood in terms of like color and if it's bright, if it's happy, it's sad, and keep in mind composition. Alrighty guys, thank you so much for watching. If you guys didn't know this, it's been a very great landmark for us. We are monetized now. Hooray, after 3 years we have been monetized. So thank you guys so much for watching and putting up with ads because it's very exciting. This is the first time the show has started earning money. And of course, shout out to our patrons on Patreon. You guys are totally wicked. You guys make my dreams come true. And if you guys would like to also be a patron, go on over to patreon.com/bubblegumcartoons. If you guys are matcha lattes, then you can get a hand-drawn sketch sent to you every single month. And until next time, guys, stay inspired.